Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The government of the District of Columbia, under the leadership sitting in front of us today, has become a poster child for DEI and gender madness. This has led to government. Mr. Chairman, this is not a concert. This audience can just settle down. I want to reclaim my time.
Stop the clock, and the gentlelady's right. Under the rules of the House, the chairman is responsible for maintaining order and preserving decorum in the committee room. I expect audience members to be respectful of the committee, so
I'd like to reclaim my time, too,
you
Mr.
reclaim
Chairman.
it. Absolutely. Ms.
This has
Mace.
led to government-sanctioned racial discrimination and the erasure of women. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 provides Congress plenary authority over the District of Columbia. Using this authority today, I'll be introducing the No DEI in DC Act. This bill will rip the DEI and gender bender nonsense out of the DC government root and branch, and restore common sense and equal treatment under the law. As the individuals charged with writing DC laws, signing DC laws, and enforcing DC's laws, we have some questions for you on the meanings of some of the curious terms we have found in the DC Code. My first question for Mayor Bowser, it's yes or no. The DC Code makes numerous references to, quote, structural or institutional racism. Do you believe the DC government is structurally or institutionally racist? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is DC government racist, institutionally racist? Yes or no? All right, you can't answer the question. So my next question for Mayor Bowser, since you're going to sit there and placate or just be quiet, in Section 7-1234.02 of DC Code, you use the phrase child welfare involved birthing people. Child welfare involved birthing people. Can you explain to me what this means?
I'm not that familiar with that part of the code.
Okay, and so you don't know. In Section 7-1234.02 of DC Code, you use the phrase justice involved incarcerated and homeless birthing people and their non-birthing partners. Can you explain to this committee what that means?
I would have to see the whole
You don't know.
section.
You're literally the mayor of DC, and you don't know your own code of laws.
Well, I don't know
All right,
them
one thing we
verbatim.
noticed the DC Code struggles to define is the term woman. So, Mayor Bowser, what is a woman?
I'm a woman. Are you a woman?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I'm a woman. You're looking at one.
Okay, good. You actually, in Section 3-703 of the DC Code, you use the phrase, the intersectionality of gender and race to create unique dynamics and effects. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
Where is that, ma'am?
Section 3-703 of the DC Code. Do you know what that means? No,
could
you
you give
don't
me
know
the
what that means. So
title of
Chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes
Mr.
the
Chairman,
commission.
I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr.
but
Chairman,
I
I'm going to
can't-
reclaim my time. This is not her time, it's my time. You can be quiet as I ask you
Chair
questions, and then you can
recognizes
answer them.
Ms.
And then you can
If
answer
you
them.
would give,
I'm not, Mr. Chairman, this is my time, not hers. I'd like to reclaim my time.
let's make good use of the time, Ms.
Chair
Mace.
I'm making very good
Chair
use of my
recognizes
time.
Ms.
There
Mace.
it
And you're
is.
Ms. Mace
making
has
my
the
point.
floor.
You're the mayor of DC, and you don't even know your own code of laws. What is a birthing person?
I would assume it's someone who gives birth.
All right. Why don't you use, are these women, are these moms? Do you think it's appropriate to call them birthing person? Can a man birth a person?
Well,
Be a
that's
birthing
what I
person?
would call it, but I don't write all the laws, and I'm not familiar with every
Can
section.
men get pregnant?
No.
Can men become women?
Can a man become a woman?
Yeah. Can a man become a woman?
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace, I'm not
Okay,
here to
my
talk
next
about
question,
that.
Chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes the Commission on Reparations and a reparations fund to provide eligible African Americans monetary reparations or other forms of redress. Is it the position of DC government benefits should be provided to individuals on the basis of race?
I believe that the legislation requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you, is it the position of the DC government that government benefits should be provided on the basis of race?
If you're
is the
referring to
question.
that legislation, I believe it requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that government benefits should be given out on the basis of race? That is the question. This is the third time I'm asking.
We have any number of benefits programs, and eligibility is established.
You're not answering
per-
any of
per
these
program.
questions. I'll give it to you. You're slick. In Section 2-1383 of the DC Code, you use the phrase "social value of the LGBTQ community business economy to the district." Can you explain what this means to the committee?
It means that LGBT businesses provide economic benefit to the district's economy.
Do you think all businesses provide economic benefit to the DC economy?
They should, or they would be out of business.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Ms. Stansberry from New Mexico.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I just want to take a moment to decompress after that. And I do want to just take a moment of personal privilege for our witnesses and for the members of the public who are here today to apologize for the behavior of my colleagues, for the disrespectful language that has been deployed, for the personal assaults on your character and professionalism. We know that you are representing the people of this city and doing an excellent job, and we support you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to turn to where the ranking member went at the beginning of this hearing and talk about the real crime wave here in DC. I think it's very demonstrable, and the data shows that the largest crime wave that we've had over the last 9 months began on January 20th. And the epicenter of that crime wave, one might call it a white collar, or in this case, an orange collar crime wave, is the White House. Because we have seen a slew of illegal firings that have resulted in millions of Americans being without vital programs, the withholding of millions of dollars of funds, violations of the Constitution, rule of law, separation of powers, due process rights, illegal arrests, illegal deportations, hundreds of lawsuits, grift that's resulted in billions of dollars in crypto schemes lining the pockets of the president and his family, government contracts to his friends, and an epic cover-up of the largest known sex trafficking scandal in American history, with the director of the FBI lying under oath in this chamber just yesterday. And I just want to say this, that it is a felony under the U.S. Code to lie under oath in front of Congress. So if you want to talk about crime in D.C., then look no further than your own damn hearings. Let's talk about that. That's the real crime wave. Now, Mr. Jackson, I really appreciate you bringing forward as part of this discussion this morning the impact that it's had on real people in the community. Because I think for people who do not live in Washington, D.C., who have never stepped foot in front of City Hall, gone to a city council meeting, have never met with the mayor in her chambers, have never talked to the people of Washington, D.C., they don't understand how this is impacting the communities who live here, of having this occupation in their midst. And this is not about public safety. You know, last week we heard our colleagues accusing us of not wanting to solve crimes, not wanting to address public safety issues. I mean, I'm trying to swear less, but that's just total bullshit. I mean, that's just a lie. That's just not true. We care a lot about addressing public safety. It's one of our top priorities. But that's not really what this is about, because if this was really about addressing public safety, you wouldn't have had the vice president and Stephen Miller walking into Union Station, making fun of, deriding, and putting down the people of DC while they're deploying National Guardsmen from across the South to stand on street corners to talk to their friends and be on their iPhones all day. I mean, I want to be real. Like, this is not law enforcement. I come from a veteran family. I support our law enforcement. I support our military. But this is not about law enforcement. And if you talk to any cop on the DC streets right now, you know, thank them for their service. Because in addition to actually dealing with real crime on the streets as trained law enforcement professionals, they had to spend the last month dealing with the bullshit of the Trump administration and a bunch of people who are standing around in the way of them actually doing their jobs. So if this administration actually wants to address public safety issues, stop holding the city of Washington, D.C. hostage. Now, this is just exhausting to listen to this all day. And so I would love to hear from you, Mr. Jackson. You've shared already this morning. With my remaining time, I would love to hear from you what you think Congress can do to help support the communities that you work with in DC.
Just first of all, it's devastating what's happening in our communities. The first day of the DC takeover, we had to go into our communities and teach young people how to navigate law enforcement when their rights might be violated. Instead of teaching them about going to school and studying math and playing sports, they're trying to figure out how to navigate masked agents raiding their neighborhoods multiple times a day. Elderly folks that are getting arrested for petty crimes, 55 and plus, are now coming to us and saying, what can I do when these masked agents run into my neighborhood? And that's not how we solve crime. We don't scare and incarcerate our way out of this issue. We tried that in the 90s. It failed. The way that we address a public health crisis is we invest in prevention strategies. We look upstream to keep guns from pouring into our communities. You know, 95% of guns in this city come from outside of the district. We only have one gun store, but yet the FBI director is bragging about apprehending guns in D.C. while President Trump's son is literally profiting with the smart gun company. And so what we really need in this moment is for federal government to do its job to keep guns from getting into our communities by cutting down on gun traffickers, by going after rogue gun dealers, by holding the gun manufacturers accountable, and being tough on crime, specifically on those who are profiting off of the pain and death in our neighborhoods.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Time's expired. Chair recognizes Mr. Cloud for